Today on Commander Replay, we take Arvad the Cursed Legendary Tribal out for another spin, and we find out, can anyone turn the tide against Odric Lunarch Marshal? Find out next on Commander Replay. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some more Arvad the Cursed. We're gonna mulligan that hand. 2 lands. That's a 7-lander. How do you guys feel about the 7-lander? I think we're gonna mulligan the 7-lander. Well, looks like we're keeping that one. Timna is not a land. Put that to the bottom. So if we can find our way into some lands, we'll actually have a pretty fast start. Would love to find some card draw at some point. A land tax coming down for the Odric opponent. So today's deck, by the way, comes as voted on by the Patreon supporters, although I think my Patreon supporters trolled me because there was a 6-way tie for first place. Luckily, I've already had the Arvad deck built, so not too much work to end up showing this one again. Don't know that I'll be able to show all 6 of those videos that they voted on. Was not expecting a 6-way tie for first, so anyway. That brings it to our turn 1. We draw not a land in this Inkai's Servant of Oni. We're going to play the new Benalia, try to get a Scry. It's a swamp, we're definitely going to keep that on top. Play the Mana Crypt, play the Orzhov Signet, and pass the turn. Let's take a look at what our opponents are playing, by the way. First up, we have Kumena, Tyrant of Oriska. It is 1 blue-green for a 2/4. Tap another untapped merfolk you control. It can't be blocked this turn. Tap 3 untapped merfolk you control. Draw a card. Tap 5 untapped merfolk you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on each merfolk you control. So, most likely going to be Merfolk Tribal, laying down a Lord of Atlantis. So, yeah, probably Merfolk Tribal. This deck can be sneaky strong. Removal will be very good. Don't know how many counter spells they're running. That's a thing we'll want to keep an eye out for. Next up, we have Odric Lunarch Marshal, a deck that I just played very recently, and is actually a very good commander. Many of you may look down upon Mono White a little bit, but let me assure you that Odric is very strong. Once all those abilities start spreading around, it is very hard to stop. And they lay down in Ashes of the Abhorrent. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or activate abilities of cards from graveyards. Whenever a creature dies, you gain 1 life, so pretty good. Back to our turn, get a Mana Crypt flip. We won the flip on the tails. We draw the swamp, we play the swamp. And what do we do right here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total mana. I think we just slam our commander, right? We could go... Actually, let's go Brimaz. Let's try tapping things the proper way. So we'll go Phyrexian Reclamation and Brimaz right here. I think I like that plan. That way Brimaz can start attacking, getting us some tokens, generating some value that way. And next turn we can slam down Arvad and to pump up the Brimaz. So I like that. Plus, if things go well for us, if we get all those tokens, we can get them pumped up with the Elesh Norn, assuming that no one plays a board wipe between now and then. Deeproot Water is coming down for the Merfolk opponent. Is a 3-mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk token with hexproof. Seems pretty good. So it's going to bring it to Odric's turn. They get a land tax trigger. We'll probably sit back on this Inkai's for quite a while until someone lays down a board wipe and there's some interesting creatures in the graveyard to pick up, because currently there are not. Aegis of the Gods coming down. Odric opponent has hexproof. So I just finished up doing a little video on mana ramp and card draw kind of stuff, and it actually forced me to go back through this deck and make sure that I was running the proper amount of mana ramp, removal, etc., in this deck, and actually made a handful of changes to it. Kind of cleaned up the mana curve a little bit, added more ramp, got to about 7-8 pieces of mana ramp, which is about where you want to be. Before it was running a lowly 5, so definitely going to be a little bit slow, and our deck kind of has a big back end on the 5, 6, 7, and 8 mana slots, so we really want to have a lot of mana in this deck. There's a Thought Vessel. Would have preferred a land. Play the Thought Vessel. We are pretty weak to... we can't cast the Arvad now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Shouldn't have cast that Thought Vessel. Well, what can you do? We will swing into the... I'm most worried about... we'll take 1 shot into the Merfolk opponent for right now. So that'll make a 1/1. Opponent will probably... Actually, it'll send the 1/1 at Odric. They will certainly not block the 1/1. We'd love to find our way into a card draw spell at some point. Kumena coming down, and that's going to trigger the Deeproot Waters. Sure. Mistcaller. Sacrifice Mistcaller. Until end of turn, if a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it. So some real punishment for graveyard-based stuff. None of that's going to be great for our Inkai's. Land tax going to trigger again. Opponent going for a lot of land searching, so they have a hand full of lands. Looks like they're just trying to filter through their deck. Yeah, in a monocolor deck, that makes a lot of sense. There's a Solemn Simulacrum. Man, would I love to get that Solemn Simulacrum with this Inkai's. Cryptgas coming down for the Ayli opponent. Oh, finishing up on our opponents, by the way. Our last opponent is Ayli Eternal Pilgrim, black-white for a 2/3 Death Touch. Sacrifice a creature, gain life equal to its toughness, pay 3. Sacrifice another creature, exile target non-land permanent. Activate this ability only if you have at least 10 more life than your starting life total. Ayli, not my favorite of the black-white life gain commanders. From all the times I've seen it, it tends to struggle a bit more than some of the other ones do. So back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip on us. We'll go tails. Won the flip. Draw a land. Lands are good. Play the land. Crack the land. Get our scrub land. Let's do a little check on our mana right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe that it's Elesh Norn time. As long as this doesn't get countered, this is going to do so many good things. It's going to get rid of almost all of the merfolk. It's going to get rid of this Crypt Ghast. It's going to put the Solemn Simulacrum. Kumena just scoops it. Ooh, can't handle the Elesh Norn. Opponent says, you didn't pump your team? Yeah, they probably could have just pumped in response. So we can declare attackers. The Odric opponent scares me a little bit more at this exact second. They have a few more lands. They have a land tax. That Ashes is reasonable. So we'll swing into them. Ayli's a bit behind. They've only got 3 lands down, and they have nothing else in play. So this Elesh Norn coming up pretty huge. Was that a turn 5 Elesh Norn? Oh, there's the Wrath of God. No. So opponent's going to gain some life. We do have the Phyrexian Reclamation, though. Nothing to say we can't do it all again. There's a Serra Ascendant. Good card. There's Krav the Unredeemed coming down. And that's going to partner. So opponent will get to search their library for Regna. So they find Regna. As far as black-white life gain commanders go, I actually prefer Krav Regna much more than I prefer Ayli. So take that for what it's worth. Comes back to our turn. We lose the Mana Crypt flip on tails. Hero's Downfall on that Serra Ascendant seems pretty necessary. Checking our black mana, we have 1, 2, 3 black mana available to us. That would be, I think, just enough. How much is it going to be? It's going to be 8 mana. It would be 8 mana to reanimate and play the Brimaz. My goal right now is I really want to get the Solemn Simulacrum out of opponent's graveyard. That'll do good things for us. Do we just cast Arvad? Yeah, I think we cast Arvad right here. I think the Death Touch lifelink is a pretty good place to be. At the end step, we'll Phyrexian Reclamation for one of our creatures. Brave the Sands. Yep, that's pretty good. That's a card that I always try to run and always gets cut as it's like the 101st card in the deck all the time. Just gotta suck it up and start running it more. This is a Gideon of the Trials. Ew. May need to use that Hero's Downfall on the Gideon. Not sure I love that. We're going to prevent all damage from the Arvad on our next turn. Hey guys, just want to take a quick second to thank my Patreon supporters. We have a new supporter, Doc Hawk. Doc, you are awesome. If you guys want to help the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And opponent going to swing into us with the Serra Ascendant, going to get started on the life gain. Yep, can't do much about that. Sorin Grim Nemesis coming down. Let's see what opponent decides to do with this. Going to reveal the top card of their library. And each opponent's going to lose some life. They reveal a Zulaport Cutthroat. So opponent's end step, I'm going to return... I guess I'll get back the Elesh Norn. Never know we're going to need that. Feel much better with that in the hand, as opposed to the graveyard. Life total getting down there, down to 23. Another Mana Crypt flip. Hope to win this one. Lost the flip. Ooh. That's a Cabal. That can get us some life back. What to do right here? Problem is all damage that Arvod's going to deal would be prevented. And it would take 8 mana. I think we only have 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only have 7 mana. It's not great. All right, so I think it's got to be Cabal time because we really need some life gain. And this coming turn, I think I'll look to Hero's Downfall, something at the end step, and then Ink Eyes, something useful back into play. Crypt Ghast and Solemn Simulacrum, both pretty good options. Kamal's a 4/5, by the way, thanks to the Arvad. Maze of Ith. Now we need to strip mine. So there goes our Ink Eyes plan. Here comes Sun Titan. Starting to see some stuff on board now. And I'm going to get back a Plains. Even getting lands with Sun Titan is still a really big deal. Really puts you ahead of your opponents. We don't have a Sun Titan in this deck, I don't believe. And I would love one to mess around with our fetch land and get caught up on lands. Don't believe we have a great way to get caught up on lands in our deck. Opponent gonna keep plussing the Gideon. Gonna plus the Gideon on the Cabal. Fortunately, Cabal does not do damage, just its life loss. Opponent gonna keep swinging into us. Well, they should probably pay some attention to that Sorin right there. We go down to 14. Life is getting low. Love to see a couple spells for this Cabal. Opponent's gonna plus the Sorin. Reveals a Signet. Signet coming down, so that's gonna trigger the Cabal. That'll get us a little life back. Sounds good. There's Regna coming down. It's getting a partner. Oh, this is tricky. This Maze of Ith really complicates things. I mean, I guess starters is going to be just... Starters, I think, is going to be shoot the Gideon. There's a lot of things in our deck that kill creatures. Are we lucky enough to draw one off the top? I'm not sure. I think we shoot the Sorin right here. As much as I want to shoot the Sun Titan and get it back with Ink Eyes, we're not going to be able to do that until that Maze of Ith is gone. So, Sorin down. It's going to come back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. Really need to start winning these things. Lost the flip again. Life, and a fetch land. Even better. Can lose some more life on that. We don't have a lot to do other than just, play Elesh Norn. So, Elesh Norn down. Makes Arvad a 5/5. Gonna swing into the Krav Regna. just in hopes that this doesn't get Maze of Ith. Would really like to gain that life back. Nice, it goes through. We're back up to 16. That is a pretty sizable amount of life to gain back. We're going to crack the fetch. We'll get our Godless Shrine tapped. And pass turn. Ghostly Prison. Ugh. Well, that gains us some life. Life is good. Does make it hard to actually kill the Odric opponent with both Ghostly Prison and Maze of Ith down. That's a lot of stuff. And there's Odric. Gonna animate the Gideon into a creature. It is a 2/2. So everything's got what? Flying, Vigilance, Indestructible, and Lifelink. That seems pretty good. Sending everything into us. Oy. Sun Titan's gonna reanimate more stuff. Get back another land. Things getting out of control now. That one's flying. Oh, they all have flying. Well, that's gonna be a pretty big hit. Down to 7. I think we're on board wiper bust at this moment. Ooh, Blind Obedience. Does gain us some life back, but it will take in the long run with Extort being a thing. There's a Bishop of Rebirth. And they're going to extort 1. Pretty much has to be a board wipe off the top, otherwise we're in real trouble, or at least spot removal for the Odric. Regna going to swing into us, sure. Ashes of the Abhorrent is going to trigger. Opponent gains some life. Because the tokens came in from Regna and immediately died to state-based effects. Mana Crypt flip on us, please win this flip. Won the flip, finally. Board wipe? Not a board wipe. How to stay alive? I mean, I think we're going to have to try to get crazy with, I have to use the Ink Eyes. Odric's ability is going to trigger. Send everything into the Krav Regna opponent. Opponent's going to Maze of Ith the Arvad. That's annoying. Was hoping to gain that life. So then we're going to Ninjutsu down the Ink Eyes. To return a creature, it's going to be the Kambal. Ink Eyes will hit. We will get back the Cryptghast. So Cryptghast back into play for us. And we have a total of 5 mana that we can use. We could go Kambal with Extort or Worn Power Stone with Extort. Don't know that either of them will make a significant difference, but Kambal at least gives us a creature and the potential to gain some more life should there be some instant speed shenanigans from our opponents. So we go back up to 8, and we'll pass turn like that. So opponent going to take us out of the game. 8 damage flying, can't do much about that. The main issue we ran into this game is that we didn't draw any cards. We ramped really quick with the mana crypt and the signet, but then after that we just didn't have any card draw, so we couldn't really follow anything up. Interesting in that the Elish Norn took the Kumena opponent right out of the game. And then, because of that, the Odric opponent just laid down the board wipe. And because we had been missing so many land drops, and because we didn't draw any cards, we couldn't really recover very quickly. If we had made all of our land drops, we would have gone absolutely crazy and just recasted everything with that Phyrexian Rebirth very quickly. To which point, for at least a turn or two, I think we could have at least overpowered the Odric opponent and been able to get that Solemn Simulacrum out of the graveyard like we wanted to do. Kind of take advantage of tempo a little better than we did because we just missed all of our land drops. And yeah, missing your land drops and not drawing cards are good ways to lose the game. Based on this current position, I mean, Odric is so heavily favored to win. Krav needs... If they get a Grave Pact and a Sack Outlet, they could turn it around, but short of that, I think they're going to be in some trouble. I suppose a board wipe would help, but still some other stuff out there with the enchantments and the Gideon. Still a lot to deal with as well. The Maze of Ith and the Gideon is really what kind of broke our back. I mean, even drawing that one extra card on the Solemn Simulacrum would have been huge. Also the land. Well, there's a Zulaport Cutthroat, so if something's going to happen, it's going to be with that Zulaport. There's a Falconwrath Noble and an Extort. So Krav Regna, not completely out of it. They are likely to take a big hit this turn. But if opponent doesn't answer them, in a couple turns, they'll have a lot of tokens. Well, there's an Aven Mind Sensor, so got even more flyers going. Well, I guess Krav can start drawing cards also? You know what? I should probably put Krav and Regna in the Arvad deck. That would make sense, right? So Gideon's going to become a creature. There's going to be a lot of flying damage. I'm not entirely sure that opponent can stop all of this. It's 21 damage coming in, so Krav will need to sacrifice at least a couple creatures and can gain that life back. The question I guess I have is, if we kept that hand with 7 lands, would things have worked out for us? Basically, we would have needed to not draw a land for most of the game at that point. If we draw any lands at all, then we just mana flood like crazy and do nothing, so that's the concern. So Krav gonna sack the creatures. Looks like most of the tokens. Looks like 3 tokens. So gonna get 3 Falconwrath triggers, 3 Zulaport triggers. Gonna draw 3 and put 3 counters on Krav and gain 3 life. All seems pretty good. So Krav up to a 7/7 and 25 life, but about to come back down. Goes to 4 life, 5 commander damage. There's a Flicker Wisp. Yeah, Flicker the Sun Titan. The amount of value that they've gotten with this Sun Titan. Ugh. Kind of wish we just shot the Sun Titan. We probably would have at least lived one more turn had we done that. Oh, they flickered the Krav. That's interesting. So Krav will lose all of its counters. Krav comes back. Wow. Odric opponent's up to 81. Lifelink's so good in that deck. Krav would need to start with a board wipe, but then they still have to deal with the Gideon, which means they more likely need to probably get into like one of the infinite loops with Tessa and Grave Pact. Honestly, I probably would have sacked a bit more with the Krav. I would have sacrificed all the tokens at the very least. Obviously, the other three you want to keep in play. So he's going to sacrifice everything. Ooh, looking for the answer. They will get them life to stay out of range of the Gideon. The other thing too is that the Odric opponent just has so many lands. It's turn 10, they have 10 lands plus a Mazavith. Yeah, that's a lot of mana production. I'm not entirely sure why, but for some reason the Falconwrath Noble triggers didn't gain Ayli any life. That's very odd. X7 needs to be a board wipe. Oh, hexproof maybe? Yep, hexproof. That's why. That's a merciless eviction. Exile all creatures. That should do it, unless they've got it to Fairy's Protection or Eerie Interlude. That gives the Ayli opponent, they've got a chance now. They're back up to 18 life. Cast your commander, extort. Yep, cast the commander with extort. So, Ayli opponent hanging tough. That merciless eviction right there, that thing was huge for them. And now Odric's low on cards. They've got 2 in hand, they'll get a 3rd when it comes back to their turn. Still some very solid abilities when you animate Gideon with Odric out, but they won't exactly have a huge army. Well, call the Gatewatch, that'll get him a Planeswalker. If I was a betting man, I'd say probably Elspeth Sun's Champion. Yup, Elspeth Sun's Champion. So, opponent gonna cast the Odric. Does not cast the Elspeth this turn. Probably would have done that personally. Start plussing that thing. Gonna animate the Gideon and swing in with it. So it goes down to 15, 80 for the Odric opponent. Sun Titan of their own for the Ayli. Sure, there's got to be some pretty good things by now. Weathered Wayfarer, not the worst. Lands always solid. Interestingly, Regna's in the graveyard, not in the oh, right. No, they're part of the 99 in this deck. That's right. In a moment like this, I think I really prefer Krav and Regna over Ayli, because if you just recast Krav and Regna, you can keep doing a bunch of stuff, draw the cards you need to, do those things. So going to get a land with the Sun Titan, plays a land. So trying to keep up on mana production. Going to go to combat. Odric will trigger. Going to swing into the Gideon. It's going to get mazed. And a Ravos Soul Tender. Seems pretty good. Can return the Krav and the Regna. Yep. Still a long ways to go for the Ayli opponent. 80 damage is a lot. They have a couple things out, but they still need a few more before they're really going to be able to threaten. And, I mean, with Odric spreading all those abilities around, each creature that Odric plays is just going to make the team that much more deadly. It's still going to be an uphill battle for Ayli. There's the Elspeth. I'd probably plus, personally. Going to animate the Gideon. Ooh, aerial responder, you say. Flying Vigilance Lifelink. Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good one with Odric down. So definitely time to plus the Elspeth, I think. Ravos is their only creature with flying currently. So Ayli opponent back down to 8. 7 commander. Ooh, gonna minus the Elspeth, destroy the Sun Titan. Sun Titan goes down. Opponent sacrifices it with the Ayli so they gain the life. That's good. Puts them back up to 15. Buy them more time, but they're gonna need some removal. Pretty much gonna need, at this point, you're gonna need continuous removal against the Odric, because once it starts spreading abilities, things get really nasty. Get back the Sun Titan. Gonna get back Regna. Sure. Gonna send everything into the Elspeth. Seems like a good idea. Gonna mortify on the Odric. Probably actually better off shooting the aerial responder, because they'll really easily be able to recast Odric next turn. Although maybe they're on the just keep killing it plan and make it so expensive that they can't recast it. That does work. So Elspeth down, and that's... Oh yeah, actually, so with the plus, even if they plussed Elspeth, those tokens would have come in tapped off the Blind Obedience, so that wouldn't have protected it. But I probably still would have plussed on Elspeth. Minus to kill only the Sun Titan is, it's fine, but it would prefer to hit a few more things with it. There's a Soul Warden, and Regna coming down with an Extort. So Ayli's kind of got the machine going with the Ravos and a bunch of reanimation creatures. So if they Ravos for Sun Titan, get back something else, they can kind of keep this loop going. And Regna's going to make some tokens, which will also trigger the Soul Warden. They're back up to 20 life. Ooh, a Maria Shepherd for the Odric. A Maria Shepherd is an immensely powerful magic card. All they have to do is play some planes, and that Elspeth's going to come back. You'll get the Solemn Simulacrum back. That's, at this point, any advantage that you can get is going to be huge. And still at 86 life, Odric not in danger of dying yet. The other thing, too, so you can go, if they get a Plains, they can bring Solemn Simulacrum back, get another Plains, and then get the Elspeth. A Maria Shepherd is a card that I really, really like. I'm very sad. There aren't really good ways to tutor for it in white. There needs to be an Angel Tutor or something like that. Just makes me super sad because it is a really cool card, and it is very underused in my opinion. Oh, and they get a Dark Depths. Just going to start ticking down on that Dark Depths. It's not the play that I would have made exactly, but did they return something to their hand when they did that? They return Solemn Simulacrum to their hand. Okay. so they can play the Solemn Simulacrum, get a Plains, get back the Elspeth. Ayli's going to have to keep doing some work. What'd they get back? They return Krav, so Krav can draw cards, and drawing cards pretty good. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering coming down. Nice. So Ameria Shepherd going down, that's a big kill for the Ayli opponent. And going to get back the Sun Titan. The Sun Titan going to get back another land. Yep, keep those lands coming. Krav and Regna, you can find a place to spend that mana. Opponents seeing quite a bit of their decks. Ayli down to 64 cards in library, and Odric down to 67 cards in library, so they both looked at a lot of cards. Just that many of them were lands for the Odric. But they have most of them in play, so there's that. So a bunch more stuff for the Ayli opponent, and Ayli's starting to look in pretty good shape now. I mean, they're still not out of it yet. Gonna send a big old party into Gideon. Gonna block with the Aerial Responder. Yep, that'll take down a token. Krav's gonna sack that one creature. Sure. Draw some more cards, gain some life, get a counter. So Gideon down. Ayli's starting to tip the scales. Odric's really gonna need some big plays. Iona, pretty big play from what I hear. So, opponent's still trying to answer the call. What color do you go? Do you go black or white right here? I'm not sure. Does come in tapped. Triggers the Soul Warden. The chosen color is white, so opponent can no longer cast white cards. So one thing to point out, too, with Krav, that is card draw that's available to you in your command zone. That's a really powerful thing. Like, you should never underestimate any commander that says draw cards. So opponent's going to sack a bunch of tokens, a bunch of counters on Krav. They go up to 11 cards in hand. Back to their turn. Ravos Soul Tender going to trigger. Going to get back the Zulaport Cutthroat. Yeah, that seems like a good one. Odric's still up to 93, though. Their life total's only getting higher. So still a lot of time. Although Krav's starting to get fairly large at 11-11. But still would take a couple strikes. And once Odric's down with the Flying Vigilance lifelink on everything, that's pretty rough. Does make it hard to attack profitably. This has been a good battle. Turn 14? Most games don't usually go this long. There's a Pontiff of Blight with an Extort trigger, so is that going to be like Extort 10 with all the creatures they have? Oh, that might get them there. They won't have to worry about attacking. There's a Zulaport Cutthroat. Yeah, that's a lot of Extort triggers. Pontiff of Blight, you say? I'm going to have to give that card another look. Really good if you have a large army of stuff. Now the question is, how do you balance out how much mana you want to use on Extort versus doing other things? So just a lot of life gain triggers going off for the Ayli. They're back up to 47. Wow. Got to discard some to hand size. Sure, looks like a swamp. Sort of a land. Sort of a Mother of Ruins. Yeah, I'm sure there's ways to get that back. And a Sarah Ascendant. Wow. Even though life totals are still a bit unbalanced, I think Ayli's in the driver's seat. They have so many things in play now, and the ability to keep continuously drawing with Krav seems really, really good. Man, I'm really impressed by Krav and Regna. And really all of the Battle Bond commanders, I think they did a fantastic job with all of them. They feel powerful, but not broken. And I think that's the key. Like, they are strong, but you have to build around them in the right way. And they don't feel unstoppable. So I think they just did a fantastic job. I haven't had a chance to play with much of the Commander 2018 stuff yet, but honestly I think I'm more excited about what's going on in Battle Bond than I am with Commander 2018. The Commanders, they just did such a good job with them. So Odric comes back to play. They're not out of it yet. Still spreading around all those abilities, still going to be a pretty big deal. If they can find a way to get some tokens going, they'll still be a pretty big game for them. And they're still gaining life. Their life total's still going up. Well, I guess it came down a little bit from 93, but, you know, with Odric and lifelink on the battlefield, lots of life to be gained. Plus, every time opponent sacrifices creatures, they're going to gain some life out of that. So, yeah, this is a battle. Ravos Soul Tender going to trigger, along with Mana Crypt. Ravos returns the Falconwrath Noble. Now things are going to get wacky, I think. Odric opponent says he can't draw to save his life. Yeah, well, he's going to need to draw to save his life, because there's a lot of stuff in play. I hope he's running, like, Descend Upon the Sinful, or what's the one out of Kamigawa? The Exile All Creatures one. Can't think of the name of it, it's gone. But opponent shoots down the Iona. What'd they shoot that with? Oh, they activate Ayli's ability. So Ayli's active now. I think Ayli's got this game, because now they can just exile everything. Sun Titan going to return something. So we're in turn 15 of this. Opponent's still at 81 life after the maze. Wow. So we're in turn 15 of this game. I don't remember the last game that I've played that's gone to 15 turns. I would love to be like this late in a game with some cool stuff going on and tons of lands, but sadly we got knocked out early. But yeah, most games end well before this point. So a million Extort triggers on the stack for Falconwrath Noble. And Ugin would also do it. So if Odric can pull an Ugin off the top, that would reset this game. We'd probably be, well, Ayli's drawn a lot of cards, and they'd probably draw a million more Krav on the way out. So maybe Ugin's not... Ooh, that's a land. They played a land. I think Ayli's got it. Might take him a few turns to get there, but That might be the game. Yeah, they say GG. Wow, that was a battle from the Ayli opponent. They went down to 4 life and came all the way back. For me, the MVP in this game is Krav, Regna, and Ravos. I think those are the cards that really did the work. Ayli, they used Ayli's ability one time, and I think they sacrificed a creature with it. Doesn't get me that excited. Krav and Regna, super sweet. Yeah, wow, just a battle from our opponent. I thought they were going to get steamrolled by the Odric. Went all the way down to 4 and back up to 64. That's so much life gain. So, great game of Magic right there. Sadly for us, we didn't get to do all that much. Well, I guess we did eliminate one player just by casting Elishnorn, so that was fun. But sadly, I wish we could have stuck around the game a little bit more, made it a little bit more interesting for ourselves, but still a really cool game between our opponents, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go play Krav and Regnan now because that was super sweet. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.